Hey, good morning. This is Mayor Valensky with Driving Markets. I hope you're well. Okay, let's have a quick catch up where we are last week. So all the markets were down last week across the board. When I say across the board, I'm talking about the bond yields were down, shares were down, cryptos were down, and foreign exchange was very, very volatile. The UK came out with a 9% inflation number on Thursday, which in my opinion is still short of what real inflation is at. I believe it's running at the 20-25% level, and therefore that is a very narrow measure of inflation in the UK, which will put more pressure on the Bank of England to push up rates. Now the Bank of England in the next rate meeting may push up rates 25 basis points, but really should be pushing them up at 50 basis points. In tandem with that, in the UK, you had a very low consumer confidence report. It's the lowest since records began. And of course, since it's the lowest since records began, consumer confidence is what pushes and drives the economy. If the consumer lacks that confidence, then that's going to have an impact on corporate earnings. So it's not a good sign that consumer confidence was down. And worse than all, you've got 9% inflation, but in any recession or any downturn in financial and any markets over the last 30, 40, 50 years, the cost of living, the cost of putting food on the table has never been like it is now. There is a pressure there and an expense that the regular individual, including myself obviously, has not experienced. It's just simply very expensive to go out there and fund your household, whether it's to do with gas, electricity or food. Mortgages, not so much. I mean, they've been historically low for the last 12 years and they're beginning to creep up again. But the feeling that the cost of living is just out of control is there amongst the mass public. And that's something that's going to impact on corporate earnings going over the next quarter. Thursday also, with the unexpected 9% inflation in the UK, that boosted the pound a little bit. Somehow I don't see the pound going any higher. It should really go higher, but Andrew Bailey and the wonderful MPC and the economists are calling for a recession in the UK, and that's frightening everyone and frightening all the investors, and therefore making people very, very concerned that the UK is not stable and going to go through some very, very tough times. So all those surrounding comments are very, very negative as far as the UK is concerned. The week ahead in the US, you've got two big numbers. You've got April home sales. Now, this is an interesting one because this will really reflect where the recent interest rate rises in the States, how they've impacted home sales in the US. And they probably have impacted to a degree, but there is still huge demand for buying a house across the board, whether it's in the US, Canada, Europe, or in the UK and Australia. So property prices have shot up. There probably will be a downturn in that home sales number, but I don't know what impact it's going to have significantly. The other big number is the PMI, the Purchasing Managers Index in the States. That is a big one. That is going to really define the confidence amongst the wholesalers and amongst the retailers as to where the actual economy is going, and that will also have an impact on financials. Looking at a couple of financials, Tesla fell below the 700 support level, closing on Friday 663. So I expect Tesla to go down to the 550 level. Amazon is on the way down. It's in bear territory and it's probably going to go down to around about the $1,500 within a week or so. And then you got Facebook, which is, I just don't like Facebook. I've just got this thing against Facebook, but I think Facebook's going to drift down to around about $100 a share. Also, you want to keep an eye, as I said yesterday, on Microstrategy. They're holding 129,000 bitcoins. Their shares have come off 68% since the beginning of the year, and it's a share to watch because if Bitcoin falls, you could see Microstrategy crash all the way to $1 or $2 a share, unless they're going to pour in tens of millions to support the margin call or offload Bitcoin. Whichever case may be, it's going to cost them a lot of money, and therefore it's going to have a bigger impact on their shares. So MicroStrategy is one to watch as far as if you're a Bitcoin trader. Keep an eye on that particular share. The Lunar Crisis wiped off $45 billion of individuals' monies. Some people have put in their, wouldn't say life savings, but a lot of their savings into Lunar, and that crashed within 1 week. The shares dropped from $119 to zero, and Lunar crashed also to, the peg dropped from $1 to zero. So that highlighted the stable coins are actually unstable, and therefore the whole theory and thesis of that went out the window. Do Kwon, which was the originator and the idea behind stablecoin from South Korea, is just being facilitated in everyone losing billions. People have lost their huge amounts of money in the Lunar Crisis, or Terror UST as it's known within the industry, and that is gone. It's gone, and therefore it's put a big question mark on stable coins. Regarding foreign exchange, you've got a strong dollar, and the dollar is going to get stronger going forward. I've said that from the beginning of January. I do see euro dollar is 1-on-1. Now, oil is an interesting one, because oil, if we're going to go into a recession with a fall in GDP in the China and in the States and in the UK, and also places like Israel had a fall in GDP to negative GDP, you will see a smaller demand on oil, and that could push the price of oil down, even though I do believe that oil is going to go to $150 a barrel. If they come out with a recession or consumer confidence continues falling, then that will have an impact on oil falling further. And I'd say also congratulations to Manchester City for winning the Premier League yesterday. Hard luck to Liverpool. There was one point in it, and seriously, it could have gone either way, and it was a real nail biter yesterday. And well done to Leeds that stayed up in the Premier League. So this is Meir Walensky with Driving Markets. Have a good day.